The blinking light on Dr. Alan Hayes' monitor caught his attention at 3:17 a.m. He had been staring at space telemetry data for hours, his eyes burning from fatigue. The anomalous radiation pattern appeared at the edge of the solar system, beyond Neptune's orbit. At first, he thought it was an equipment malfunction. "Karen, are you seeing this?" He called to his colleague across the NASA monitoring station. Dr. Karen Williams rolled her chair over, her coffee sloshing dangerously close to the rim of her mug. She squinted at the screen. "That's not normal background radiation. Too structured." Within hours, every major observatory on Earth redirected their instruments toward the coordinates. The data confirmed what seemed impossible. A massive collection of objects, clearly artificial, drifting at the edge of our solar system. The United Nations Security Council convened an emergency session. Representatives from major space agencies presented their findings with barely concealed excitement and fear. "We're detecting minimal power signatures, but the fleet, and yes, it appears to be a fleet, is enormous. Over 300 distinct vessels ranging from small craft to structures nearly 20 kilometers in length," said the ESA director. After heated debate, they authorized the International Space Vessel Horizon to investigate. As Earth's most advanced spacecraft, it could reach the mysterious fleet in 17 days using its experimental ion drive. Captain Lisa Wright stood on the bridge of the Horizon as they approached the alien fleet. Through the viewports, the enormous collection of ships grew from distant specks to massive structures. Their designs were unlike anything humans had imagined. Organic curves blended with crystalline structures that seemed to flow rather than connect. "My God," whispered Commander Joe Baker beside her. "There must be millions of them aboard those ships." The Horizon's sensors confirmed life signs throughout the fleet, though energy readings remained critically low. Captain Wright ordered communication attempts on all frequencies. For 2 days, they circled the alien fleet, broadcasting greetings in mathematics and basic physics principles. On the 3rd day, they received a response, a complex data packet that the ship's computers struggled to decode. Dr. Frank Miller, the mission's xenolinguistics expert, worked tirelessly with the AI systems. "It's a language primer," he announced finally. "They're teaching us how to communicate." Within 48 hours, basic communication became possible. The aliens identified themselves as the Vaxilarians. Their fleet carried the last survivors of their civilization, refugees fleeing the destruction of their home system. Fleet Admiral Zortek, the Vaxilarian leader, appeared on the Horizon's main screen. The alien had iridescent blue skin, 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, and spoke through a translator device. "We did not wish to involve your species in our troubles." Zortek's translated voice sounded mechanical but clear. "Our energy cores were damaged passing through an anomaly. Without assistance, our life support systems will fail within 60 days. 3 million lives will be lost." Captain Wright recognized the pain in the alien's voice, the cultural shame of asking for help. "Earth stands ready to assist you, Admiral," she replied. Back on Earth, governments debated the risks. Some nations feared cultural contamination or possible invasion. Others saw humanitarian and technological opportunities. Scientists calculated the resources needed to save the alien fleet, and economists predicted massive economic strain. The United Nations vote was close, 97 to 89 in favor of mounting a rescue operation. President Greg Wilson addressed the world. "Today, humanity faces its greatest challenge and its greatest opportunity. We have discovered we are not alone in the universe. More importantly, we have discovered that compassion extends beyond the boundaries of species. We will help these refugees because it is right, because it is who we are as humans." Operation Starlight began the next day. Every major spacefaring nation contributed resources. Military assets were mobilized to transport supplies. Scientists worldwide focused on understanding alien technology. The greatest rescue mission in human history had begun. No one yet realized how it would transform Earth's future forever. Dr. Frank Miller wiped sweat from his forehead as he studied the alien schematics. After 3 days aboard the Vaxilarian mothership, he still struggled to understand their technology. The enormous vessel stretched over 15 kilometers from end to end, housing nearly 500,000 refugees. These power crystals function unlike anything we've ever seen, he explained to Olivia Grant, the lead engineer from NASA. They don't generate energy through nuclear reactions or chemical processes. It's almost as if they pull energy directly from subspace. Olivia nodded, her fingers tracing the holographic display. The damage is worse than they initially reported. Whatever energy field they passed through didn't just damage their systems, it fundamentally altered the atomic structure of their power cores. On the other side of the chamber, Vaxilarian engineers worked alongside the human team. Their slender blue forms moved with precise, fluid motions. Despite the translator devices everyone wore, communication remained challenging. Our civilization spent thousands of years developing these technologies, explained Chief Engineer Veltar. His 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture the humans had learned indicated frustration. We cannot simply replace them with your primitive fusion reactors. Jack Wilson, the cultural specialist, stepped forward. Veltar means no offense. The Vaxilarians value self-sufficiency above all else. Their history shows they've never accepted outside assistance before. The alien engineer's skin rippled with color, their equivalent of a nod. For 50,000 years, we have survived through our own ingenuity. To depend on another species. He didn't finish the sentence. Meanwhile, aboard the Earth vessel Horizon *, Dr. Nicole Adams discovered something troubling in the data they'd received. She requested an urgent meeting with Captain Wright. The Vaxilarians haven't been entirely honest with us, she said, pulling up star charts. They didn't just flee because of resource depletion or a dying sun. They were attacked. Captain Wright studied the images showing the destruction of an entire solar system. By whom? They call them the Drakmor, a highly aggressive species that has systematically hunted the Vaxilarians for centuries. According to these records, the Drakmor may still be pursuing them. This information changed everything. When presented to Earth's governments, military leaders immediately raised concerns. Were humans inviting an interstellar war by helping the refugees? Admiral Robert Johnson addressed the UN Security Council. If these Drakmor are still hunting the Vaxilarians, our solar system could become their next target. We need to prepare defenses while continuing the humanitarian mission. Back at the alien fleet, Peter Johnson, a young NASA engineer, made a breakthrough. Their crystals resonate at quantum frequencies we've only theorized about. If we could construct a device to realign their atomic structure, the plan would require resources beyond anything Earth had ever devoted to a single project. Every major nation would need to contribute materials, expertise, and energy. Scientists estimated it would strain global economies for years. President Wilson called for unity. Throughout human history, we've overcome our differences when faced with great challenges. This is more than a rescue mission. It's a test of who we are as a species. As Earth mobilized its resources, the first Vaxilarian ships received emergency power transfers. Life support systems stabilized in the vessels carrying the youngest refugees. In gratitude, Fleet Admiral Zortek shared medical knowledge that immediately advanced human treatment of cancer and genetic disorders. This is but a small token, the Admiral said. Should we survive with your help, we offer a partnership that will take both our species to the stars. While scientists and engineers tackled the technical problems, military forces from Earth's most powerful nations began coordinating a defensive strategy. If the Drakmor arrived during the rescue operation, humanity would stand with their new allies. Operation Lifeline was officially authorized. The greatest international cooperation in human history began, even as astronomers scanned the depths of space for signs of approaching danger. The massive hangar of NASA's Johnson Space Center buzzed with activity. Engineers and scientists from 27 countries worked side by side, constructing devices never before imagined on Earth. Chief Engineer Samantha Brooks stood in the center, directing the organized chaos. The power transfer modules need to be completely standardized, she shouted over the noise of machinery. The Vaxilarians can't afford any variations in energy flow. Her team had designed modular units that could connect to the alien ships despite their radically different technology. Each unit weighed over 12 tons and required special handling equipment. The plan called for building over 300 of these devices in less than 30 days. Meanwhile, in orbit above Earth, Captain Daniel West coordinated the logistics fleet. 47 spacecraft from various nations had been repurposed to transport supplies to the stranded aliens. His holographic display showed the complex dance of vessels moving between Earth and the outer solar system. Fuel Tanker 17, adjust your trajectory by 0.3 degrees, he ordered. Cargo Vessel Esperanza, you're cleared for acceleration to maximum velocity. The operation required precise timing. Each human ship could only carry a fraction of what was needed. The convoy stretched millions of kilometers, a lifeline reaching toward the disabled alien fleet. Dr. Nicol Adams faced a different challenge. The Vaxilarian technical language contained concepts humans had never encountered. Their engineering principles operated on assumptions about physics that Earth scientists were still struggling to understand. It's like trying to explain calculus using only Stone Age tools, she told her international team of linguists and physicists. We need to create entirely new words in our languages just to discuss their basic principles. Despite these obstacles, progress continued. The first power transfer modules reached the alien fleet 21 days after the rescue operation began. In Washington, D.C., representatives from Earth's nations gathered to formalize their cooperation. Old enemies sat side by side, signing agreements to share resources and technology. The Operation Lifeline Treaty represented the first truly global initiative in human history. Today we set aside centuries of conflict, said the UN Secretary-General during the signing ceremony, not only to save another species but to show what humanity can achieve when united by compassion. Not everyone supported the mission. Protesters gathered outside government buildings worldwide, carrying signs with messages like Earth First and Aliens Bring Disease. Security forces remained on high alert as tensions rose in several major cities. President Wilson addressed these concerns in a worldwide broadcast. I understand the fear. We're venturing into the unknown. But throughout history, the greatest risk has always been failing to help others when we had the power to do so. At the alien fleet, a different kind of cooperation developed. Human astronauts learned to navigate the organic architecture of Vaxilarian vessels, while alien engineers studied the practical simplicity of Earth technology. Fleet Admiral Zortek granted humans access to their historical archives, a gesture of unprecedented trust. For you to help us, the Admiral told Captain Wright, you must understand who we are and why the Drakmor hunt us. The records revealed a tragic history. The Vaxilarians had once been peaceful explorers until their first contact with the predatory Drakmor 3 centuries earlier. Since then, they had been driven from system to system, their population dwindling with each generation. While military strategists analyzed this information, medical teams discovered something unexpected. The Vaxilarian biology produced compounds that showed promise for treating several human diseases. Initial tests suggested their biochemistry might hold cures for conditions that had plagued humanity for millennia. As the first power transfer modules were installed, everyone held their breath. The theoretical models suggested the process would work, but no one could be certain. If they failed, 3 million refugees would die in the cold darkness of space. Captain Wright watched from the bridge of the Horizon as the first energy pulses flowed toward the alien mothership. Sometimes, she whispered, being human means taking a leap of faith. The first power transfer to the Vaxilarian mothership began with promising results. Energy flowed through the human-built modules into the alien systems. For 3 minutes, everything functioned perfectly. Then, without warning, alarms blared across both human and alien vessels. Power surge detected. Systems overloading, shouted Lieutenant Paul Wilson from his monitoring station aboard the Horizon Asterisk. Captain Lisa Wright watched in horror as sections of the alien ship flickered with bursts of uncontained energy. Shut it down. Shut it all down now. The emergency protocols activated, but not before one of the power transfer modules exploded. 3 human technicians and 5 Vaxilarians were injured in the blast. Worse, the surge damaged critical systems in the alien mothership, leaving an entire section without life support. Back on Earth, scientists and engineers worked frantically to understand what had gone wrong. Kevin Martinez, a quantum physicist from Mexico's space agency, discovered the problem 2 days later. The energy doesn't just flow through their systems, he explained to the international team. It resonates with the crystalline structures at a quantum level. Our power transfer created a cascading amplification effect, like a feedback loop in audio equipment, but infinitely more dangerous. The news devastated the rescue teams. Without a solution, the entire mission would fail. 3 million Vaxilarians would die, and humanity's first contact with an alien species would end in tragedy. Dr. Catherine Lewis, who had been studying Vaxilarian technology for weeks, refused to accept defeat. She requested to work directly with their lead engineer, Trelvin. Together, they isolated themselves in a laboratory aboard the Horizon Asterisk. For 4 days, they barely slept or ate. The human and alien scientists communicated through diagrams and mathematical equations when the translation devices failed to convey complex technical concepts. It's not about matching our technologies, Catherine explained when they emerged. It's about creating something entirely new that can bridge the gap. They had designed hybrid power couplings that would convert Earth's energy into forms the alien ships could safely absorb. The designs were promising, but building them would require materials from both Earth and the Vaxilarian vessels. As manufacturing began, nature added its own challenge. The sun ejected a massive solar flare directly toward the rescue operation. The radiation threatened both human ships and the fragile power equipment. "We have 12 hours before the solar radiation hits," Captain Wright informed her crew. "We need to either shield the equipment or move it behind the shelter of Neptune." Moving tons of equipment quickly enough proved impossible. Instead, Commander Greg Russell proposed a dangerous alternative. "We can modify the communication arrays on 3 of our ships to create a deflection field, but someone will need to manually adjust the emitters during the flare." The plan required a spacewalk in conditions that would be lethal with even seconds of direct exposure. Commander Russell volunteered himself and 2 other crew members for the mission. They stepped into space as the leading edge of the flare approached. For 2 hours, they worked on the external equipment, their suits providing minimal protection against the increasing radiation. "Final emitter aligned," Russell reported, his voice strained. "Deflection field at 83% capacity." When the full force of the solar flare hit, the makeshift shield held. The equipment survived, but Commander Russell and his team received dangerous radiation doses. They were rushed to medical facilities, their fate uncertain. On Earth, the global economy showed signs of strain. Resources normally used for agriculture, manufacturing, and infrastructure were being diverted to the space mission. Food prices rose. Energy rationing began in several countries. Some political leaders who had supported the mission now faced angry constituents. Despite these challenges, the hybrid power couplings were completed and installed. 17 days after the initial failure, they attempted the power transfer again. This time, the energy flowed smoothly into the alien vessels. The first section of the Vaxilarian mothership lit up with restored power. Life support systems stabilized. 3,000 refugees, who had been slowly suffocating, took their first full breaths in weeks. In mission control, humans and Vaxilarians together watched the power levels rise. No one spoke. The only sound was the steady hum of equipment bringing life back to a dying fleet. As more Vaxilarian ships returned to operational status, a new phase of the mission began. Human crews needed to remain aboard the alien vessels to monitor the power systems, requiring them to adapt to life among the refugees. For the first time, humans and aliens lived together in close quarters. Chef Maria Sanchez arrived on the mothership with a special assignment: feeding the human workers. She brought Earth supplies but quickly realized they would run out before the mission ended. Curiosity led her to visit the Vaxilerian food production centers. "Your growing methods are fascinating," she told Kelvan, the alien nutrition specialist. "You create food through energy-to-matter conversion rather than traditional agriculture." The slender blue alien gestured to the glowing chambers where various foods formed. "For space travel, it is most efficient. We can program any molecular structure." Maria offered Kelvan a sample of human food: simple bread with olive oil. The alien's 4 eyes widened as he tasted it. "This contains compounds our systems recognize but combined in ways we never imagined," he said. "The sensory experience is remarkable." Within days, Maria and Kelvan created a collaborative meal program. Humans tried Vaxilerian foods that resembled glowing blue gelatin, but tasted like complex fruits. The aliens discovered they loved Earth spices, particularly cinnamon and basil. In another section of the mothership, historian Ryan Davis received unprecedented access to the aliens' historical archives. The Vaxilerians had maintained continuous records for over 50,000 years, documenting their evolution from primitive ocean dwellers to advanced space travelers. "Your species has achieved in centuries what took us millennia," the alien historian Mevlar told Ryan. "Your adaptability both impresses and concerns us." Ryan spent hours recording and translating the ancient knowledge. "Their civilization mastered space travel before humans invented the wheel," he reported back to Earth. "Yet they never developed certain technologies we take for granted, like artificial intelligence." Meanwhile, Lieutenant Ben Clark served on security detail, patrolling alongside Vaxilerian officers in Pell. Initially, they communicated through translators, but soon developed their own system of gestures and simplified terms. "Your people vary different sizes," Zimpel observed as they watched humans of varying heights work alongside the uniformly tall Vaxilerians. "How you maintain unity with such diversity?" Ben laughed. "Sometimes we don't. But our differences give us strength too. Different perspectives solve problems faster." The aliens seemed most curious about human art and religion. The concept of multiple spiritual beliefs fascinated them, as their species shared a unified understanding of existence. "We see universe as single conscious entity," explained Elder Jorvan to a group of human visitors. "Your many religions suggest universe speaks differently to different minds." This idea, valuable. In return, humans discovered the Vaxilerians possessed sensory abilities beyond human experience. Their skin could detect radiation levels. More impressively, they saw color spectrums invisible to human eyes. Dr. Emma Collins, an optics specialist, worked with Vaxilerian scientists to develop viewing devices that translated these hidden spectrums for human perception. "The first time I used the translator lenses, I cried," she told her colleagues. "There are entire layers of reality we've been missing. The night sky isn't black. It's filled with colors we don't have names for." Perhaps the most meaningful exchanges happened among the children. Several families had accompanied the mission, including the Parker family, whose 10-year-old daughter Lily quickly learned to communicate with Vaxilerian children. Through modified virtual reality systems, human and alien children taught each other games. The Vaxilerian young showed remarkable patience with their human counterparts, while human children adapted quickly to alien concepts. "They don't see each other as different species," observed child psychologist Dr. Susan Miller. "They're just kids playing together." There's a lesson in that for all of us. As repairs continued and more ships regained functionality, the boundaries between the two species blurred. Humans adopted certain Vaxilerian customs, like their formal greeting ritual involving synchronized breathing. The aliens began experimenting with human music, fascinated by harmonic patterns their culture had never developed. What had begun as a rescue mission was transforming into something more profound. The first true cultural exchange between Earth and the stars. The alarm came during the night shift. Long-range sensors, positioned at the edge of the solar system, detected unusual movement. The officer on duty, Lieutenant Sarah Johnson, verified the readings 3 times before making the call. "Captain Wright, we have multiple objects entering the solar system at high velocity," she reported, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "Pattern matches Vaxilarian records of Drakmor scout ships." Within minutes, the command center of the Horizon filled with both human and Vaxilarian officers. The holographic display showed 7 vessels approaching from the direction the alien fleet had fled. "Time to intercept?" Captain Wright asked. "At current speeds, 5 days," responded the navigation officer. Fleet Admiral Zortek's skin darkened to a deep blue, a sign of grave concern in his species. "Scout vessels always precede the main battle fleet. We have perhaps 2 weeks before their destroyers arrive." The news reached Earth within hours. Military leaders from all major nations convened an emergency session. The revelation that Earth might face hostile alien forces created panic in some regions, but the global leadership remained resolute. "We cannot abandon the Vaxilarians now," declared Admiral Linda Ford of the United States Space Force. "Nor can we allow these Drakmor to threaten our system." Captain Amy Turner, who had commanded Earth's most advanced combat vessel before the first contact, was given charge of the defensive operation. She had only days to prepare a fighting force from ships never designed for space combat. "The Vaxilarians have advanced weapons systems, but most are non-functional due to power issues," she explained to her newly assembled team. "Our ships have power but weren't built for warfare. We need to create a hybrid fleet." Engineers worked around the clock to modify Earth vessels with alien technology. The Vaxilarians provided their weapons designs, energy-based systems that could disable rather than destroy enemy ships. Human targeting systems, originally designed for satellite tracking, proved more precise than the alien equivalents. Dr. Eric Johnson made a critical discovery while studying the records of previous Vaxilarian encounters with the Drakmor. The Drakmor ships use a specific frequency to coordinate their attacks, he explained, pointing to patterns in the data. "If we can jam that frequency, their formations will fall apart." As the scout ships approached, Captain Turner deployed her makeshift defense fleet. 23 Earth vessels had been equipped with Vaxilarian weapons. They formed a protective screen around the still disabled refugee ships. "Remember, these are just scouts," she told her officers. "Our goal is to make them report that this system is too heavily defended to attack." The Drakmor scouts entered the outer solar system near Neptune's orbit. Up close, they appeared as sleek, dark vessels with predatory lines. Their hulls absorbed light rather than reflecting it, making them difficult to track visually. "They're scanning us," reported Lieutenant Phil Garcia. "They've detected both human and Vaxilarian signatures." Captain Turner had anticipated this. "Implement Operation Mirage." Now, 3 older Earth ships broke formation, appearing to flee toward the inner system. As expected, 4 Drakmor scouts changed course to pursue what they perceived as easy targets. "They took the bait," Turner confirmed. "Activate jamming sequence." The human ships broadcast the interference pattern Dr. Johnson had identified. Immediately, the pursuing Drakmor vessels lost formation, their movements becoming erratic. "All ships, target engines only," ordered Turner. "We want to disable, not destroy." The battle lasted less than 30 minutes. 2 human ships suffered serious damage, but all 4 Drakmor scouts were disabled. The remaining 3 enemy vessels retreated, accelerating rapidly out of the solar system. The human Vaxilarian forces had won their first victory, but at a cost. 5 human crew members died when their ship's life support failed after taking damage. The disabled Drakmor scouts self-destructed before they could be boarded, preventing capture of their technology. As the defensive fleet regrouped, Admiral Zortek addressed the human commanders. "You have sacrificed your people for ours. This debt cannot be measured. But know this, the scouts will report to their fleet. The next attack will be much larger. Captain Turner nodded grimly. Then we have work to do. How long until the main Vaxilarian fleet is operational? With current progress, Admiral Zortek replied, perhaps 2 weeks. Then we need to be ready in 1, Turner said, because I doubt the Drakmor will give us 2. The victory provided hope, but everyone understood the truth. The real battle for both species' survival was just beginning. 3 months after the first power transfer, the Vaxilarian mothership's engines hummed to life. The massive vessel glowed with restored energy, its crystalline structures shimmering against the blackness of space. One by one, the other ships in the refugee fleet activated their systems. After months of desperate work, the entire fleet was operational. On the bridge of the Horizon Asterisk, humans and Vaxilarians stood together watching the final system checks. Captain Lisa Wright had tears in her eyes as the last status indicators turned green. "We did it," she whispered. "We actually did it." Fleet Admiral Zortek performed the formal gratitude ritual of his people, a complex movement of his 4 arms that human physiology couldn't replicate. In 50,000 years of recorded history, the Vaxilarian people have never known such compassion from another species. The successful rescue had changed both civilizations forever. In the weeks following the defeat of the Drakmor scouts, the alien fleet had regained full functionality. More importantly, the combined human Vaxilarian forces had driven back 2 additional Drakmor attacks, proving that together they were stronger than either species alone. Admiral Stephen Gray of Earth's United Space Command arrived on the mothership for formal treaty discussions. His team brought the document that would shape the future relationship between the 2 species. "The question now," Admiral Gray said as they gathered in the Great Council chamber, "is what happens next." The original plan had been for the Vaxilarian fleet to continue its journey once repairs were complete. However, after months of cooperation, neither side wanted to separate. "We offer an alternative," Admiral Zortek proposed. "There are uninhabited planets in your system suitable for our people. Rather than continuing our exile, we could settle here as neighbors and allies." The proposal sent waves of excitement through both delegations. Scientists immediately identified several options. Mars could be partially terraformed with Vaxilarian technology. Several large moons of Jupiter and Saturn had conditions suitable for alien habitation, and the asteroid belt offered abundant resources. "In return," continued the alien admiral, "we offer full access to our technologies. Our faster-than-light drive designs alone would advance your space capabilities by centuries." The treaty they signed that day became known as the Solar Alliance. Earth would provide a home for the refugees, and the Vaxilarians would share their advanced knowledge. More importantly, they would establish joint defensive forces against the Drakmor threat. Within weeks, the first Vaxilarian settlement ships descended to Mars. Their bioengineering technology began transforming the red planet's atmosphere much faster than human science had thought possible. Meanwhile, human engineers worked alongside alien scientists to adapt FTL technology to Earth vessels. The first hybrid research station was established in Mars orbit, staffed by the brightest minds of both species. Dr. Catherine Lewis led the human team studying Vaxilarian propulsion systems, while Ben Clark, now promoted to commander, coordinated security with his colleague Zim Pell. On Earth, universities established new departments focused on alien sciences. Vaxilarian cultural centers opened in major cities, where humans could experience their art and history. Children who had first met during the rescue mission now attended joint educational programs. The greatest change came in humanity's perspective. Looking up at the night sky, people no longer saw only empty darkness. They saw potential, connection, and possibility. 1 year after first contact, the newly constructed starship Unity prepared for its maiden voyage. Built with combined technologies and crewed by both species, it would be the first of many exploration vessels. This ship represents more than just advanced engineering. Captain Lisa Wright told the assembled crowd at the launch ceremony. It represents what can happen when we reach out instead of turning away, when we choose compassion over fear. As the Unity lifted off from Earth orbit, it carried scientists, explorers, and diplomats bound for nearby star systems. Their mission? To seek knowledge, establish outposts, and perhaps find other civilizations. What had begun as a desperate rescue operation had transformed into humanity's greatest adventure. The refugee crisis that brought two species together had become the foundation for an interstellar civilization. Neither humans nor Vaxilarians would ever again face the darkness of space alone. Fleet Admiral Zortek and Admiral Gray watched the ship accelerate toward the stars. "Your people have a saying," the alien leader remarked. "A friend in need is a friend indeed." Admiral Gray smiled. "And now we face the future as friends indeed."